Rolling Stones has put out another list ranking albums, this time for hip hop, and there are some big issues with it. Of course, when you put out a list with 200 albums on it, there's gonna be some questionable picks, but the picks are questionable the whole way through. Usually lists like these account for impact and value, the lyricism, the instrumentation, and the artistic side of it. But it is very hard to look at this list and find a pattern on why they went with an album and not the other album. This is apparent from the jump because the list starts with Astroworld at number 200. Then you got Juice WRLD, Goodbye and Good Riddance. So I thought there was gonna be some consistency, but then you scroll down a little bit more and you see Cupcakes, Eforize? Why the fuck is this on the list? I legit have not heard anybody talk about this album, and there's really nothing about this album that would make me think, yeah, this is above Astroworld. And it's in this bottom stretch where I find a lot of the weird takes like Meet the Woo over Long Live ASAP. I just don't see what made the collection of writers think that Meet the Woo was gonna be more important or more relevant. Maybe they're projecting towards the future, and still I don't see it. At times this list made me think about how out of touch some of these writers might be. Polo G's Die a Legend is ranked higher than Because of the Internet, and as it relates to 2010's albums, the rankings of them are all over the place. It's like the more recent albums got put in shuffle, and that just happened to be the order in which they went with. By the time I got to the top 100, it was just apparent that regardless of the album, the order wasn't gonna make sense. There's no fluidity in terms of what they are rewarding here. It seems like there's a bit of bias towards newer records. What is what we're going for here? Again, the top 50 is also confusing. You have an instrumentally rich album like J Dilla's Donuts, so you think they're appreciating experimentation and things like that, but then you have Tyler the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost like 2 spots above that. And I do think you can make an argument for Call Me If You Get Lost to be a top 200 album all time. I don't mind that, but top 50? And the top 20 makes it apparent that this is all for clicks. Like, it's no coincidence that the Clips album ends up at number 12 and at number 11 is Drake. That just seems like easy bait for the fan bases. I think the most puzzling album on this list has to be Invasion of Privacy. And again, I can see that being in the top 200 because it won a Grammy, and that alone can put you in the top 200, right? But at 16, even if you want to argue that you're putting this album as high as it is because of it opening doors for female rappers, Pink Friday is only like 15 spots below that, so you could have went with that. And again, to add to the confusion of what's the criteria here, the albums below that is Madbility and Jesus, 2 non-mainstream albums where one is experimental as fuck and the other one is lyrical and kind of experimental as well. And I know some people are gonna say that, oh, you just hate women in hip-hop, but no, I think Sims could have been placed a lot higher if we're gonna place Cardi B Invasion of Privacy at 16. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not mad at the picks necessarily, just the order of them. Actually, I am mad at the Cupcake pick. I don't get it. Bastard by Tyler the Creator is another one that I don't get, especially because it's Tyler the Creator. But something that I think is very important to mention that a lot of people probably won't mention is how they went about picking these albums. Basically, right at the top, they admit to putting in albums to drive up interest. When confronted with a choice between the 3rd or 4th or 5th record by a classic artist, Outkast for instance, or A Tribe Called Quest, and an album from an artist who would make the list more interesting, we tended to go with the latter option. And that's their quote, not mine. So if you're gonna get mad at the Rolling Stones top 200 hip hop albums of all time, it's probably by design. And well, I guess that's all I had to say. And well, with that being said, shout out to J Dilla.